Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Know Before You Go, Brian Parker and the Brian Parker Group. Yeah, I'm wearing the same sweatshirt as I had in the last video, doing a couple back-to-back here. I've got to do a little traveling this afternoon. The next video you'll see will be a completely different background you haven't seen yet. Heading down to our beach house and going to be there for a few days, taking care of my team down there and clients and my referral partners, and hopefully a little bit more warm weather than what we have up here where I'm at right now. Anyway, thanks for being here. Today we're going to talk about annual percentage rate, aka APR. And the first thing I just want to tell you, APR does not matter in getting a mortgage. Done, flat out done. Why? Okay, so let's jump back to consumer financing. You buy a car, maybe your credit card bills, different things that you may finance in that realm in consumer lending really have fixed costs that go with them. There's no third party fees or whatnot. So when you get your rate for your automobile, that rate versus the term of your repayment and the calculation that goes with that, that's your APR. Same thing with your credit cards, although your APR will change if the interest rate on your credit card goes up and down. But APR on a mortgage includes third-party fees that your mortgage lender doesn't really have control over, okay? Now, if we know what we're doing, we're going to estimate pretty correctly. There's resources we can go into, calculators. If I'm working with your realtor and I know what attorney your realtor uses and stuff like that. But there's certain things that I could choose to do that I do not because it's not what I do. I am straightforward. My job is to over prepare my clients for closing. So when you get to closing, several things are going to happen. Your interest rate's either going to be the same or lower. And the cash I estimate you're going to bring to close will never be higher. I would much rather you bring $500 less to closing than what I estimate than bring $100 more. Okay. My job is to over prepare you. So let's talk about the APR and what goes into that and what your mortgage lender controls and then what they don't control. So your interest rate is one thing. That's kind of like the baseline. That's a starting factor. But along with your interest rate is your rate lock period. And rate lock periods for the most cases are standard 15 days, 30 days, 45 days, 60, 75, 90, etc. Now, the farther your rate lock period is, the higher the interest rate will be or the cost to obtain that interest rate would be. So if I'm trying to manipulate that a little bit, I might quote you a 15-day rate lock while we're in conversations to get you to choose me as your lender, but that's really not realistic. Most lenders should be quoting a 30 to 45-day rate lock depending on your initial conversation with them or me and your closing date. Okay, so interest rate is number one. Fees, your lender fees. Okay, now they get called different things: commitment fee, underwriting fee, processing fee. It really doesn't matter what the name of it is. When you look at your loan estimate or your itemized fee worksheet provided by your lender, those are going to be in the 800 section of that document. Okay, so whatever those fees are, those are fixed rate. Your lender can't change those, and they're not really negotiable. Okay, you can ask your lender, can we negotiate that? And we're all going to say no. Okay, because that our company sets that. That's bottom line. That is built into margins. That's the way it works. And then your discount points, which also go into the 800 section. But discount points can vary depending on your rate and what you want to choose to buy your rate down, if you choose to buy it down at all. Okay. Now, everything else I'm about to discuss are all third-party fees and can be manipulated. Your mortgage insurance premium. Now, when I'm calculating mortgage insurance and an estimate for you in your shopping me process to decide if you want to use me in your pre-approval process, there are calculators that we use for that. And it puts in your DTI and your income and your credit score and how many borrowers are on the loan, and it will give us a quote. But until we actually tie that quote in the application to an actual property address, closing date, and all that, that quote may change or it may not. So if I was trying to get your business, I could quote it in my premium that might be, we call them basis points. We won't get into that, but I could quote something 15, 20 basis points lower than what it might actually be to make your APR look lower. Your appraisal fee, most appraisal fees are standard, but depending on the market you're in, once we shop the appraisal out to an appraiser, and we as your lender, we don't get to pick the appraiser. It is a blind rotation. So in my local market, I have appraisers I know that are in my rotation, but I never know who does the appraisal until we get it back. That's a rule that went in place in 2010 or so. But if the market is in high demand and we might quote, say, a $575 appraisal fee, the appraiser could come back and say, I'll do it, but we want $650. And we have no choice but to say yes, okay, to get your appraisal done. Appraisal fees changes your APR. Your title insurance, your attorney fees, your doc prep fee by the attorney, the recording fees at the courthouse, every one of those can be manipulated to show a lower APR. And the markets that I'm in, most attorneys are charging somewhere between $975 to $1,200. So if you ever see an attorney fee on an estimate for $600, it ain't right. It ain't gonna work. They're just making the APR look lower. And then when your attorney fee is higher, it's like, oh, it's a third-party charge. We don't control that. Same thing with the title insurance. We can go quote that on the title insurance websites, but until it's actually tied to the commitment the attorney issues, that comes from the attorney, not from us. We don't control that fee. So does APR matter in your mortgage loan? No. So how do you choose your mortgage lender? Well, know, like, and trust. We use that throughout life, right? So if you're just looking at comparing lenders and what's apples to apples, you're looking at the items that are in the 800 sections of your loan estimate or that itemized fee worksheet, and then really your interest rate. And that's really all you need to look at, because everything else can be manipulated to make the APR look lower. Other thing that changes it a little bit, but not really a whole lot, will depend on the term of your loan. Pretty much everybody's doing a 30-year fixed right now because of market stability, where the rates are, stuff like that. But your APR is going to be a little higher on a 30-year loan than it would be on maybe an adjustable rate or a shorter term loan if the rates are lower on a shorter term loan. So anyway, APR doesn't matter. Trust, knowledge, experience, that matters. I'm Brian Parker with the Brian Parker Group. Look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Get you a new background. God bless you. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you soon.